Marcus Washington looked out the car window and smiled. After months of hard work at the FBI office, he was finally on vacation with his family. His wife Tanya sat next to him in the front seat. Their two children, Zoe and Marcus Jr., played a game in the back. "Are we almost there, Dad?" asked Marcus Jr. He was only 10 years old and had been asking this question for the last hour. "Yes, buddy. Just 10 more minutes," Marcus said. He looked at the GPS on his phone. The beach town of Pine Harbor was close now. The family had rented a nice house for a week, just 2 blocks from the beach. Marcus worked hard at his job as an FBI agent. He solved big cases and helped keep people safe. But sometimes he missed important family moments because of work. This vacation was his chance to make it up to them. "Look at that view," Tanya said, pointing at the ocean as they drove along the coast road. The water was blue and calm. Small boats moved across the horizon. "Can we go swimming today?" Zoe asked. At 14, she was already glued to her phone most of the time, but even she looked excited about the beach. "As soon as we unpack," Marcus promised. The rental house was perfect. It had 4 bedrooms, a big kitchen, and a porch with ocean views. The kids ran from room to room, claiming the best beds. Tanya started unpacking the food they had brought, while Marcus carried in the suitcases. After lunch, the family changed into swimwear and walked to the beach. The sand was warm between their toes. Marcus helped the kids put on sunscreen. Then they all raced to the water. "Last one in is a rotten egg," shouted Marcus Jr., running ahead. For 2 hours, they swam, built sandcastles, and played beach volleyball. Marcus felt the stress of work washing away with each wave. He watched his children laugh and splash in the water. This was why he worked so hard, for moments like this. Later that afternoon, they walked to the town's main street for ice cream. The small beach town was busy with summer visitors. Shops sold beach toys, T-shirts, and souvenirs. Music played from a small band in the town square. "This place is so nice," Tanya said, linking her arm through Marcus's. "I'm glad we chose it." As they walked, Marcus noticed 2 police officers watching them from across the street. He didn't think much of it. As an FBI agent, he always noticed police and security details. It was part of his training. After ice cream, they stopped at a small grocery store for a few things they had forgotten to pack. The same police officers had followed them, and were now standing outside the store, talking quietly. "Everything okay?" Tanya asked, noticing that Marcus kept looking at the door. "Yes, fine," he said, not wanting to worry her, but something felt off. In his 15 years with the FBI, Marcus had learned to trust his instincts. They paid for their groceries and stepped outside. The officers moved toward them. "Excuse me, sir," one officer said to Marcus. "Can we see some ID?" Marcus felt Tanya tense beside him. The children looked confused. "May I ask why?" Marcus said calmly. "We've had some reports of suspicious activity in the area," the officer said. His hand rested near his gun. "You folks don't look like you're from around here." Marcus understood immediately what was happening. He had seen it before, both as an FBI agent and as a black man. But he had never expected it to happen in front of his children. "I'm happy to show my ID," Marcus said in a steady voice. "But I'd like to know what suspicious activity you're referring to. My family and I just arrived for vacation today." The second officer stepped closer. "Sir, we need to see your ID now." Marcus reached slowly for his wallet, making sure his movements were clear and non-threatening. He knew what could happen if the officers felt threatened, even when there was no reason to be. This was supposed to be a perfect family vacation. Now, in just a few minutes, everything had changed. Marcus handed his driver's license to the officer. The man looked at it with narrowed eyes. "Washington from D.C., the officer said with a smirk. "Long way from home, aren't you?" "We're here on vacation," Tanya explained, putting her arm around Zoe, who was staring at the ground. Marcus Jr. pressed against his mother's side. "And what do you do for work, Mr. Washington?" The second officer asked, writing something in his notebook. "I work for the federal government," Marcus said carefully. He didn't always share that he was an FBI agent, but he added, "I'm an FBI agent. My credentials are in the car if you'd like to see them." The officers exchanged looks. The first one laughed. "Yeah, right. And I'm the president," he said. "Step away from your family, sir." Marcus felt his heart beating faster, but he kept his face calm. "Officer, I'm telling the truth. If you'll allow me to go to my car." Hands against the wall. "Now," the first officer shouted, suddenly pulling out his gun. Zoe screamed. Marcus Jr. began to cry. People on the street stopped to watch. "Put the gun away," Marcus said firmly but quietly. "There are children here. I'll do what you ask." He placed his hands against the wall of the grocery store. The officer pushed him roughly and kicked his legs apart. "Dad," Marcus Jr. cried out. "It's okay, buddy," Marcus said over his shoulder. "Everything will be fine. Mom, take the kids inside the store, please." Tanya didn't move. "I'm staying right here. Officers, this is a mistake. My husband is telling the truth." A third police car pulled up. Now there were 4 officers surrounding them. One began searching Marcus while another questioned Tanya. "What are you really doing in Pine Harbor?" The officer asked her. "This is a nice town. We don't want any trouble here." "We're on vacation," Tanya repeated, her voice shaking with anger. "We saved for months to come here. We have a rental house on Beach Street." The officer who was searching Marcus pulled out his wallet again and looked through it. He found Marcus's FBI badge. "Hey, Mike," he called to the first officer. "He might be telling the truth." The officer named Mike took the badge and studied it. "Could be fake," he said, but he sounded less sure now. More people had gathered to watch. Some had phones out, recording the scene. An older white woman approached one of the officers. "What are they supposed to have done?" she asked loudly. "Ma'am, please step back. This is police business," the officer told her. "I was behind them in the ice cream shop," the woman continued. "They're just a family on vacation. This isn't right." Another police car arrived. A man in a police uniform with more badges stepped out. He was older than the other officers and had gray hair. He walked straight to the scene. "What's going on here, Officer Davis?" he asked the first officer. "Chief, we got a call about suspicious people matching this family's description," Officer Davis explained. "The man claims to be FBI." The police chief looked at Marcus, who was still against the wall with his hands up. "Sir, are you armed?" the chief asked calmly. "No, sir," Marcus replied. "My service weapon is locked in the safe at our rental house, as required by FBI regulations when traveling with family." The chief nodded and turned to the officer holding Marcus's badge. "Let me see that." He examined it carefully, then pulled out his phone and made a call. He walked a few steps away, speaking quietly. When he returned, his face was serious. He handed the badge back to Marcus. "Officers, remove those cuffs immediately," he ordered. "Mr. Washington, I apologize for this incident. Your credentials check out." The cuffs came off. Marcus rubbed his wrists and went straight to his family. He hugged his crying children. "Are you going to arrest those cops now, Dad?" Marcus Jr. asked through his tears. The crowd of people was still watching. Some were still recording. The police officers looked uncomfortable. "No, buddy," Marcus said, looking directly at the officers. "But we are going to have a very serious talk with them." The Washington family walked back to their rental house in silence. Zoe kept her head down. Marcus Jr. held his father's hand tightly. Tanya's face showed anger that she was trying to control. Once inside, Marcus Jr. asked, "Why did they treat us like that, Dad?" Marcus sat his family down in the living room. He took a deep breath before answering. "Sometimes people judge others by how they look, not by who they really are," he explained gently. "Those officers made wrong assumptions about us." "Because we're black?" Zoe asked directly. At 14, she understood more than her brother. Marcus nodded slowly. Yes, that was part of it. But that's not fair, Marcus Jr. cried. You're an FBI agent. You help people. You're right. It's not fair, Marcus agreed. And that's why we can't just let this go. Tanya looked at her husband. What are you thinking, Marcus? I'm thinking our vacation isn't ruined, he said firmly. But I'm also thinking about all the families who go through what we just did, who don't have an FBI badge to protect them. That evening, after the children went to bed, Marcus made some phone calls. He called his boss at the FBI. He called a lawyer friend. He wrote down everything that happened, every word the officers said. In the morning, Marcus put on his suit instead of beach clothes. Where are you going, Dad? Marcus Jr. asked at breakfast. I thought we were going to the beach today. I'll meet you all there in a few hours, Marcus promised. First, I need to visit the police station. Tanya gave him a worried look. Are you sure that's a good idea? Trust me, Marcus said, kissing her goodbye. At the police station, Marcus asked to see the chief. He waited calmly in the lobby for 30 minutes before the chief appeared. Mr. Washington, the chief said, looking uncomfortable. What can I do for you today? I'd like to talk about what happened yesterday, Marcus said. In your office, please. In the chief's office, Marcus placed his FBI badge on the desk, along with his business card. Chief Rogers, yesterday your officers humiliated my family in public without cause, Marcus began. I'm not here to threaten or make demands. I'm here because I believe in fixing broken systems. The chief shifted in his chair. Those officers have been spoken to. That's not enough, Marcus interrupted. I've worked in law enforcement for 15 years. I know that being spoken to means nothing will change. Marcus pulled out his phone and showed the chief videos that people had sent him overnight. The incident had already been shared widely online. Your department has a problem, Marcus continued. And it's bigger than just yesterday. I checked the records. This town has a pattern of stopping minority visitors. The chief's face turned red. Now wait a minute. I'm not finished, Marcus said firmly. I could file a formal complaint. I could call the national news. I could make things very difficult for this town. But that's not why I'm here. He put a folder on the desk. This contains recommendations for community policing and anti-bias training that the FBI has developed. I'm offering to help, not just complain. The chief looked surprised. He opened the folder slowly. Why would you help us after how you were treated? He asked. Because I'm a father who wants a better world for his children, Marcus answered. And because I'm a law enforcement officer who believes most people who wear a badge want to do the right thing. For the first time, the chief really looked at Marcus, not as a suspect or a threat, but as an equal. He extended his hand. I think we need to talk more, Agent Washington. When Marcus arrived at the beach 2 hours later, he found his family building a sandcastle. Marcus Jr. ran to him immediately. Did you yell at those mean police officers, Dad? He asked. Marcus smiled and ruffled his son's hair. No, buddy. I did something more important. I started a conversation that might help change things. Tanya gave him a questioning look. Marcus nodded, letting her know it went well. Now, he said, picking up a plastic shovel, I think this castle needs a proper FBI security system, don't you? For the rest of the afternoon, the Washingtons enjoyed the beach, but something had changed. They had come to Pine Harbor looking for rest. Instead, they found a purpose. The next morning, the Washington family was eating breakfast on the porch of their rental house when someone knocked on the door. Marcus opened it to find a young woman with a notepad and a camera around her neck. Mr. Washington, I'm Julie Chen from the Pine Harbor Daily News. Could I talk to you about what happened with the police? Marcus looked back at his family. Tanya gave a small nod. I can give you a few minutes, Marcus said, stepping outside to talk to the reporter. Inside, Tanya turned on her phone and gasped. Marcus is trending, she told the children. The videos of their incident had spread far beyond the small town now. People all over the country were talking about the black FBI agent who was handcuffed in front of his family. When Marcus came back inside, his phone was ringing. It was his boss at the FBI. "Washington," he answered. "Yes, sir. I understand." "No, sir. I didn't seek this attention." He listened for a long time. "Thank you for your support, sir." He hung up and looked at his family. That was the director. "The FBI is officially backing me. They're sending out a statement supporting my actions." Just then, another knock came at the door. This time, it was the mayor of Pine Harbor, a short woman with gray hair and a worried face. "Agent Washington, I'm Mayor Wilson. I want to personally apologize for what happened to your family. This is not what our town stands for." "Actions speak louder than words, Mayor Wilson," Marcus replied. "I agree," she said. "That's why I'd like to invite you to speak at the town hall meeting tonight. People need to hear from you directly." After the mayor left, the family tried to enjoy their day at the beach, but people kept coming up to them. Some wanted to shake Marcus's hand. Others wanted to tell him their own stories about the police in Pine Harbor. "Dad, are you famous now?" Marcus Jr. asked as a group of teenagers took selfies with the beach house in the background, clearly trying to get Marcus in their photos. "Not in a way I ever wanted to be, buddy," Marcus answered truthfully. That evening, Marcus stood in front of a packed town hall. News cameras were at the back of the room. Chief Rogers sat in the front row, along with the officers who had stopped the Washingtons. "I didn't come to Pine Harbor to make a point," Marcus began. "I came here for the same reason as many of you, because it's a beautiful place to bring your family. But what happened to us happens to too many families who don't have an FBI badge to protect them." He looked directly at the officers. "I don't want those officers fired. I want them to learn. I want them to do better." Then he looked at the rest of the room. "And I want all of you to understand something. When you see someone who doesn't look like they belong in your town, remember this: America belongs to all of us. We all have the right to feel safe. We all have the right to vacation without fear." The room was silent when he finished. Then, slowly, people began to stand and clap. Soon the whole room was on their feet, except for Officer Davis, who had pulled his gun on Marcus. He sat with his arms crossed. After the meeting, Chief Rogers approached the family. "Agent Washington, I've been thinking about your offer to help with training. I'd like to take you up on that." Officer Davis stood nearby, listening. Marcus noticed and waved him over. "Officer Davis," Marcus said calmly, "I know you think I'm trying to cause trouble, but let me ask you something. If someone pulled a gun near your children, how would you feel?" The officer looked down. For the first time, he seemed to really see Marcus as a father, not just a suspect. "I have kids too," Officer Davis said quietly. "I wouldn't like it." "Then maybe we have something in common after all," Marcus said, offering his hand. Officer Davis hesitated, then shook it briefly before walking away. "That was a start," Tanya said, squeezing her husband's arm. "A small one," Marcus agreed. "But that's how change happens, one conversation at a time." Back at the beach house, as the children got ready for bed, Zoe surprised her father with a hug. "I'm proud of you, Dad," she said. "You didn't just get mad. You made them listen." Marcus held his daughter tight, hoping she would remember this lesson for the rest of her life. By the middle of their vacation week, the Washington family couldn't go anywhere in Pine Harbor without being recognized. People would stop them on the street to express support. Restaurant owners would offer free meals. One ice cream shop even created a new flavor called Agent's Honor. "This is getting weird," Zoe said as they walked back from breakfast. A car had honked, and the driver had given them a thumbs up. "I just want a normal vacation." "Me too, honey," Tanya agreed. "But what's happening here is important." Marcus checked his phone. He had received dozens of emails from black families who had visited Pine Harbor in the past. They all shared similar stories about being stopped by police for no reason. Some had cut their vacations short. Others had vowed never to return. "Dad, look," Marcus Jr. said, pointing across the street. Officer Davis was walking out of a coffee shop. When he saw the Washingtons, he froze for a moment. Marcus made a decision. He crossed the street, leaving. On Thursday morning, Marcus's phone rang very early. He rubbed his eyes and answered it. "Washington," he said in a sleepy voice. "Marcus, it's Director Thompson from FBI headquarters." The voice was serious. "Your story is everywhere now. All the big TV channels are talking about what happened to you in Pine Harbor." Marcus sat up in bed. "I didn't want this much attention, sir." "I know, but sometimes we don't choose these moments. They choose us," the director said. "The president called me this morning. She wants us to use this situation to talk about police reform." Tanya woke up and looked at Marcus with questioning eyes. He mouthed FBI director to her. "What do you need me to do, sir?" Marcus asked. "We'd like you to speak on national TV. Tell your story. You're in a unique position. You're an FBI agent, but you're also a black father who was wrongly treated. People will listen to you." After the call ended, Marcus told Tanya everything. She hugged him tightly. "Our quiet family vacation is officially over," she said with a small smile. "I'm sorry," Marcus said. "This isn't what I planned." "Don't be sorry," Tanya replied. "You always teach the kids to stand up for what's right. Now, they're watching you do it." At breakfast, Marcus told the children about the call. Zoe looked up from her phone. "Dad, you're trending on social media. There are hashtags with your name." Marcus Jr. looked confused. "Are you famous now?" "Not in a way I ever wanted to be," Marcus answered honestly. "But sometimes life puts you in a position to make a difference." When they tried to go to the beach that day, they found 3 TV news vans parked outside their rental house. Reporters called out questions and cameras flashed. "Agent Washington, will you make a statement?" "Agent Washington, is the FBI investigating Pine Harbor Police?" Marcus stopped and faced the cameras. "My family deserves their privacy. I will speak officially tomorrow. Until then, please respect that we are still on vacation." But their peaceful vacation was over. At the beach, people took photos and pointed. Some even approached to shake Marcus's hand. "Thank you for speaking up," one woman said. "My son was stopped by police here last summer for no reason. We never came back until now." By lunchtime, Marcus's phone wouldn't stop ringing. His FBI office, news stations, and even the mayor of their hometown in Maryland all wanted to talk to him. "I need to handle this," he told Tanya. "Can you take the kids for ice cream?" "I'll meet you later." Tanya gathered the children. "Your dad needs some time to work. Let's give him space." While his family was gone, Marcus made important calls. He spoke to the FBI director again. He talked to his civil rights lawyer. He even had a long conversation with Chief Rogers. "The Department of Justice is opening an investigation into your department," Marcus told the chief. "Will they shut us down?" Chief Rogers asked, sounding worried. "This isn't about punishment," Marcus explained. "It's about fixing what's broken. If you work with them, this could make your department better." When his family returned, they found Marcus sitting on the porch, looking at the ocean. "Bad day?" Tanya asked, sitting beside him. "Complicated day," Marcus replied. "The governor just called. She wants to create a state task force on police reform. She wants me to lead it." "What did you say?" Tanya asked. "I said I needed to talk to my family first." Marcus looked at his children. This would mean more time away from home, more attention on all of us, but it could help make real changes. Marcus Jr. sat on his father's lap, something he hadn't done in a while. "You should do it, Dad. Those police were mean to us. You can help make them be nice to other families." Zoe nodded in agreement. "Plus, I can handle people at school talking about it. I'm proud of what you're doing." That evening, they had dinner on the porch, away from the reporters who still waited outside. As they ate, a black family walked by on the beach. The father waved at Marcus. "We came because of you," he called out. "Wanted to show our support." Marcus waved back, feeling a mix of emotions. Their vacation had turned into something much bigger. But looking at his family, he knew they would face whatever came next together. "Sometimes," he said to his children, "standing up for what's right isn't easy, but it's always worth it." Friday morning came, their last full day of vacation. Marcus woke up early and put on his FBI suit. Today was the day he would give his official interview on national television. "You look very official, Dad," Zoe said as she came into the kitchen for breakfast. "Thanks, honey. Are you okay with all of this?" Marcus asked his daughter. "I'm okay," she said. "My friends back home are texting me. They say my dad is a hero." Marcus smiled, but his heart felt heavy. He hadn't asked for any of this. He had only wanted a peaceful family vacation. After breakfast, a car came to take Marcus to the local TV station. The mayor had arranged for him to use their studio for the national interview. Before he left, Tanya straightened his tie. "Remember who you are," she said softly. "You're not just an FBI agent. You're not just a man who was wrongly treated. You're a father showing his children how to change the world." At the TV station, Marcus was taken to a small room with bright lights and cameras. He could see the news anchor in Washington, D.C. on a screen in front of him. Millions of people would be watching. "We're live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The producer counted down. "Good morning, America," the news anchor began. "Today we're speaking with FBI agent Marcus Washington, who was wrongfully detained by police while on vacation with his family. Agent Washington, thank you for joining us." For the next 15 minutes, Marcus told his story calmly and clearly. He didn't exaggerate. He didn't show anger. He simply told the truth. "What do you want to see happen now?" the anchor asked. Marcus took a deep breath. "I want 3 things. First, I want better training for police officers everywhere. Second, I want communities to work with police to build trust. And third, I want my children to grow up in a country where they aren't judged by the color of their skin." Meanwhile, back at the beach house, Tanya and the children watched their father on TV. "Dad looks so serious," Marcus Jr. said. "He is serious," Tanya explained. "What he's talking about is very important." After the interview, Marcus returned to the beach house to find Chief Rogers waiting for him. The chief looked different today, more humble, less defensive. "That was a good interview," Chief Rogers said. "Fair and honest." "Thank you," Marcus replied. "What brings you here?" "I wanted you to know that Officer Davis asked to lead our new training program. He says meeting your family changed how he sees things." Marcus nodded, surprised but pleased. People can change when they connect as humans, not as labels. Later that afternoon, on their last day of the beach, the Washington family finally got some peace. The reporters had left to file their stories. The curious onlookers had gone home. It was just the 4 of them building one last sand castle together. "Dad," Marcus Jr. asked as they worked, "are we coming back to Pine Harbor next year?" Marcus looked at Tanya. They hadn't discussed this. "Would you want to?" Marcus asked his son. "I think so," Marcus Jr. said. "It wasn't all bad, and I want to see if things get better." "Me too," Zoe added. "Plus, we're kind of famous here now." Marcus laughed for what felt like the first time in days. "Well, we'll think about it." As the sun began to set on their final vacation day, a group of local families approached them on the beach. There were about 20 people, black, white, and brown families together. They carried a large card. "We wanted to thank you," a woman at the front said, "for speaking up, for starting change in our town." They gave the Washington family the card. It was signed by dozens of Pine Harbor residents, both year-round and summer visitors. Some had written short notes about their own experiences with the police. "We've started a community group," the woman continued, "to work with the police on making changes. We'd love to keep you updated." "I'd like that," Marcus said, deeply moved. That night, as they packed their suitcases for the trip home tomorrow, Marcus found a moment alone with Tanya. "This wasn't the vacation we planned," he said, holding her close. "No," she agreed. "It was more important." "The work is just beginning," Marcus said. "The governor's task force, the FBI initiatives, the media attention. It's going to be a busy year. And we'll face it together," Tanya said, "as a family." From the next room, they could hear their children talking excitedly about going back to school and telling their friends about their famous dad. Marcus smiled. His children had seen something important this week. They had seen that one person could make a difference, that standing up for what's right matters. That was worth more than any peaceful vacation could have been. Saturday morning arrived, and it was time for the Washington family to leave Pine Harbor. As they packed their car, several neighbors came out to say goodbye. Even people they had never met waved from their porches. "It feels different now," Tanya said as she put the last suitcase in the trunk. "It is different," Marcus agreed. "For them and for us." Before they could drive away, a police car pulled up next to their SUV. Marcus tensed for a moment, old habits kicking in. But it was Chief Rogers and Officer Davis. They stepped out of the car and walked over. "We wanted to say goodbye," the chief said, "and to give you this." He handed Marcus an envelope. Inside was an official letter from the Pine Harbor Town Council. It thanked the Washington family for turning a bad situation into a chance for the town to grow. It also invited Marcus to be a special advisor for their new police training program. "We mean it," Chief Rogers said. "We want to do better." Officer Davis stepped forward. He looked nervous but determined. "I owe your family an apology," he said. "A real one, not just because my boss told me to give it." He looked at Marcus Jr. and Zoe. "I'm especially sorry to you kids. You should never have had to see your dad treated that way." Marcus Jr. studied the officer's face. "Are you going to be nicer to people now?" Officer Davis nodded solemnly. "Yes, I am. Your dad helped me see things differently." As they drove away from Pine Harbor, the children were quiet, thinking about their unusual vacation. It wasn't until they were on the highway that Zoe spoke up. "Dad, are you really going to help them with their police training?" "I think so," Marcus answered. "Change happens when people work together, not when they walk away from each other." The drive home took several hours. When they were about halfway, they stopped at a roadside restaurant for lunch. As they ate, a man approached their table. "Excuse me," he said. "Are you Agent Washington? I saw you on TV yesterday." "Yes, I am," Marcus replied. "I'm a police officer in my town," the man said. "I just wanted to say I respect how you handled everything. You're making us all think." This happened 2 more times before they got home. People recognizing Marcus and stopping to talk. Some were black families sharing similar stories. Others were police officers wanting to do better. Each time, Marcus listened carefully and spoke thoughtfully. "You're getting good at being famous," Tanya teased as they finally pulled into their driveway at home. "I'm not famous," Marcus protested. "I'm just in the right place at the right time to make a difference." Their house looked the same, but the Washingtons were different. As they unpacked, their neighbor, Mrs. Johnson, came over. "I saw you on the news," she exclaimed. "The whole neighborhood is talking about it." That evening, as the family settled back into their home, Marcus received 3 important phone calls. The first was from the FBI director, offering him a new position leading community relations training for agents across the country. The second call was from the governor's office, confirming his appointment to the state task force on police reform. The third call surprised him most. It was from Officer Davis in Pine Harbor. "I've been thinking about what you said," Officer Davis told him, "about how we need to see each other as humans first. I want to start a program here, bringing officers and community members together just to talk and get to know each other." "That's a great idea," Marcus encouraged him. "The simple things often make the biggest difference." Later, as Marcus tucked his son into bed, Marcus Jr. asked a question. "Dad, are you still mad about what happened on our vacation?" Marcus thought carefully before answering. I'm not mad anymore. I'm determined. There's a difference. What's determined mean? His son asked sleepily. It means I won't stop until things get better, Marcus explained. Not just for our family, but for everyone. Good, Marcus Jr. said, yawning, because Officer Davis seemed nice at the end. People can change, Marcus said, kissing his son's forehead. That's what gives me hope. Downstairs, Marcus found Tanya looking through the photos from their vacation. The beach days, the sandcastles, and even some pictures from the town hall meeting. Not the vacation we planned, she said, but maybe the one we needed. Marcus nodded, putting his arm around her. Our next vacation will be quieter, I promise. Tanya laughed. Somehow I doubt that. Not with Marcus Washington, agent of change. As they looked through the photos, Marcus realized something important. What had started as a terrible moment had become a turning point, not just for Pine Harbor, but for him and his family too. 1 year had passed since the Washington family's eventful vacation in Pine Harbor. So much had changed in that time. Marcus now led the FBI's new Community Trust Division. He traveled across the country, teaching police officers how to build better relationships with the people they served. Tanya had started a support group for families who had experienced racial profiling. What began as small meetings in their living room had grown into a national network. She was even writing a book about their family's experience. The children had changed too. Zoe joined her school's social justice club and gave a speech about her experience in Pine Harbor. Marcus Jr. made a project for his science fair about how stress affects people in unfair situations. He won first place. It was summer again, and the family was discussing their vacation plans over breakfast. Where should we go this year? Marcus asked, sipping his coffee. Somewhere quiet, Tanya suggested. Maybe the mountains. Or we could go back to Pine Harbor, Zoe said quietly. Everyone looked at her in surprise. You want to go back there? Marcus Jr. asked. After what happened? Zoe nodded. I want to see if things are really different now. Dad's been working with them all year. Don't you want to see if it worked? Marcus and Tanya exchanged glances. They had discussed this possibility privately, but hadn't mentioned it to the children. Actually, Marcus said, Mayor Wilson did invite us back. They're having a community celebration for the 1-year anniversary of their police reforms. And Officer Davis has been sending me updates about their new community program, Tanya added. It sounds like they've made real progress. 2 weeks later, the Washington family drove into Pine Harbor. The town looked the same. Blue ocean, pretty houses, tourists walking with ice cream cones. But there were new signs on the main street that read Pine Harbor welcomes ALO families and community first. As they pulled up to their rental house, a different one from last year, a small group of people waited outside. Mayor Wilson was there, along with Chief Rogers and Officer Davis. So were several families they had met during last year's town hall meeting. Welcome back to Pine Harbor, the mayor said warmly. The group had prepared a small welcome party with food and drinks. As they all talked, Officer Davis pulled Marcus aside. I wanted you to see this, he said, handing Marcus a folder. Inside were statistics from the police department. Stops and searches were down by 60%. Complaints against officers had dropped by 70%. Community satisfaction with police was up by 45%. This is impressive, Marcus said honestly. We still have work to do, Officer Davis admitted, but we're trying. That conversation at your dinner table last year, it changed how I see my job. The next day, the Washington family went to the beach. Unlike last year, no one stared at them or took photos. They were just another family enjoying the sun and waves. This is how vacation should be, Tanya said as she watched the children build a sandcastle. In the afternoon, they attended the community celebration in the town square. Hundreds of people gathered to mark 1 year since Pine Harbor had begun changing its approach to policing and community relations. Mayor Wilson asked Marcus to speak. He hadn't planned to, but as he looked at the crowd, people of all colors sitting together, Police officers in casual clothes mingling with families. He agreed. 1 year ago, my family came here for a vacation and found something else. Marcus began. We found a town at a turning point. What happened to us could have ended with anger on both sides. Instead, it became the start of something better. As he spoke, Marcus Jr. tugged on his mother's sleeve. "Look, Mom," he whispered, pointing across the crowd. A black family was arriving late to the celebration. They looked nervous, as if not sure they belonged. Officer Davis noticed them too. He walked over, welcomed them warmly, and helped them find seats. Marcus saw this and smiled as he continued his speech. Change doesn't happen overnight. It happens day by day, conversation by conversation, person by person. What matters is that we keep trying, keep talking, and keep seeing each other as human beings first. That evening, as the Washington family walked back to their rental house, Marcus Jr. ran ahead, no fear in his steps. Zoe chatted with some local teenagers she had met at the celebration. Marcus took Tanya's hand as they walked. "I think we can call this vacation a success," he said. "So far," she agreed with a smile. "But it's only the first day. Something tells me this time will be different," Marcus said. "Not because Pine Harbor is perfect now, but because they're trying to be better. And in the end, that's all any of us can do." As the sun set over the ocean, the Washington family gathered on their porch. Their journey had come full circle. What began as a painful experience had turned into something powerful, not just for them, but for a whole community. And that was the greatest vacation souvenir they could have ever brought home.